Chelsea here has given me my sign name. And in the deaf world, only you can only get a name if a deaf person gives it to you. And I didn't know if I'd get one or not. But Chelsea here did give me my sign name. And would you like to tell everyone what you have given me? And when? And
Do you want to know why?
yes,
Because he has a beard.
yes, and
And because he's a deep thinker, he takes his time, and there's a lot of wisdom behind things, so I think it really matches kind of that deep thinking motion.
I thought you were going to be mean to me. You were just nice.
You know, I'm nice today.
Oh.